Do you realize where we are?
No.
Look around, man. The clean, modern aesthetic, the cool blue color palette. We're in
IKEA.
the Falcon Fury. Did you say IKEA?
Nope, I said Falcon Fury, just like you.
The gang's all here, they're on the case, and there's no ghost that they wouldn't face, 'cause they dig it, Scooby-Doo. Yeah, they dig it, Scooby-Doo.
Hey gang, and welcome to an all-new and somewhat impromptu episode of APNSD Extra. Now for those of you who aren't familiar with the Extra format, essentially it is anything that sort of doesn't fit into the podcast name Scooby-Doo format, interview format proper. It is generally used by me for doing the added value content anytime I'm doing like an audio commentary or something with one of the creatives who's worked on the show. It generally goes under the APNSD Extra banner. Extra, bonus features, extra features. It's simple, it's didactic, but it works. And I occasionally will also use the Extra format to do really specific interviews or reviews, like I'm doing right now. And it's a mini-sode. It's not going to be very long. I just wanted to take some time to talk about the home video release for SCOOB, which is coming out tomorrow on all formats, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, ultra high def, and also digital. Although I guess the digital's kind of been available for a while since people have been watching this since early May, but a different kind of digital, I guess. And Warner Home Video was kind enough to send me a review copy. I know some of the copies, like through Amazon or whatever, I think are already showing up a little bit early. I think COVID has kind of messed a lot of things up as far as release schedules and whatnot. So some people have these, but they won't be commercially available until tomorrow. So if you're going down to your Walmart or Best Buy, it won't be until tomorrow that you can pick this up. And I just wanted to do a quick kind of review conversation about the Blu-ray, just to talk about the features and the presentation and whether I think it is a worthwhile purchase. Anybody who might be thinking to themselves, well, yeah, maybe you bought it already with its like theatrical, air quote, I'm doing air quotes, theatrical release, and you're like, do I want the Blu-ray? I know there's some features on it. Are they worthwhile? That kind of thing. And I'm just going to do like a quick rundown of those, as well as just kind of talk about some of the technical features and whatnot. And you can make your decision from there. So I'm going to start with the mandatory disclaimer. Although Warner Home Video has provided me with a free review copy, the opinions presented in this review are all mine and not in any way influenced by the fact that I got a review copy from Warner Home Video. So, SCOOB. What can I say about the movie? There's been a lot of mixed reaction. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people are just kind of meh. I vacillate, I waffle between the meh and the really like it. When I got the Blu-ray and I was watching it to review it, I had kind of some weird experiences because when I was passively watching it, I loved it. Something about giving it sort of 3/4 attention enhanced everything. And then there were moments where I was moving around and leaning forward, and sometimes I had my screen like really close to my face, and I kind of got the feeling of what it would be like to watch this movie on the big screen. And that was pretty amazing. And I thought to myself at that time, holy crap, we're kind of losing out by not being able to see this on the big screen, because there's so much detail, there's so much texture, and it's such a well put together film that it's a crime that the home video format is the only format we'll be able to experience it in. Perhaps somewhere down the line, I mean, there's all kinds of festivals and family Saturday movie things where theaters will often show older films. So some of us may get to see Scooby in the on the big screen sometime in the future, but it's obviously not something that we have the opportunity to yet for a time. But this time around, I have to say I did enjoy the movie. There were a lot of really neat things that I was kind of picking out. And I'm not sure if it's because the first time I saw the film, I was going in really cold. And then the second time I saw the film, I was kind of going through it with a fine-tooth comb because I was wanting to interrogate sort of my criticisms. I've since talked to some of the people that worked on the film, and hearing what they had to say and knowing that my biggest problem with the film is I think it needs 10 or 15 more minutes of story. I think it's a really lean film, and maybe a little too lean. It could use a little bit of fat, a little bit of character, a little bit of just slow it down and let's kind of live with these characters a bit. At 94 minutes, there's a lot going on, and it moves at a pretty good clip. There's about 15 minutes of deleted scenes, and a lot of these scenes I would have loved to have in. Knowing why they were taken out, understanding the editing process and the development process and all the different directions this film kind of went, I think I went into it this time with a different mindset. Was just kind of really enjoying the Hanna-Barbera-ness of it all and really enjoying the technical side of this movie. I mean, it looks fantastic. If you have a chance, the video presentation on this Blu-ray is stellar. I know a lot of you probably are picking up the DVD and only have the DVD, and that's great, but I'm telling you, you're only getting so much of the experience. And I was watching the Blu-ray. I don't have the 4K Ultra HD, which I'm sure is an extra step above. This is such a rich movie, and it's so well directed and staged. It's so purposeful, and the intent really kind of rang true for me this time around. I mean, I still don't love Simon Cowell being in it. I still, as I said, I wish it was longer. I have mixed feelings about Will Forte being Shaggy. It's a voice, out of all the voices in the show, it's the one voice that still takes me out of the film more often than I would like it to. But overall, I think I'm happy with what they've done, story-wise and presentation-wise, as far as the film. Now, as far as the Blu-ray goes, I have very few complaints. The video presentation is quite spectacular, really quite happy with it. The audio, it's a great mix. I mean, on most modern home video releases, your studio has to really crap the bed to sort of get a bad review as far as video and audio presentation. It's a 1080p high-def video presentation. It is DTS HD Master Sound, and whether you're watching it on stereo speakers or you have the nice full surround system, I think you're going to be pleased. I didn't really notice any compression or artifacting, which is great. And as I said earlier, it is something, watch it as big as you can. Honestly, don't watch this on your phone. Minimum 40-inch screen, but go as big as you can. If you have a friend out there with an 80-inch screen, go to your friend's house. Tell them you're watching Scoob. If they don't want to watch it, ask them to go somewhere for 94 minutes and just leave you alone. As for the special features, both the 4K and the Blu-ray contain bloopers, deleted scenes, How to Draw Scooby-Doo, presented by Tony Cervoni, New Friends, Newer Villains, and Puppies. Whereas the Scoob DVD contains only the How to Draw Scooby-Doo, which honestly it's a 10-minute feature. It's a fun little feature, so I don't want to be down on the DVD people out there, but you're really missing out. And I know it kind of sucks. It probably has a lot to do with just the space. You want the movie and the audio to take up as much space as they can, and you want to put the added value content on there because you want the movie to sell. DVD just doesn't have the storage space that a Blu-ray does. So, and also they're probably assuming that the DVD is going to be the thing that's bought for the children, and that the Blu-ray and the 4K are going to be the actual home video enthusiasts, the cinephiles, or the hardcore Scoob fans, which I know isn't 100% accurate because there's probably hardcore Scoob fans out there who are buying it on DVD. This is the same problem that we had with Laserdisc back when Laserdisc was a thing and VHS was all pan and scan, because who wants black bars on their TV? I've got a 32-inch television and I've paid hundreds of dollars for it, and I don't want black bars. I want I want the movie to take up the whole screen. But you're losing like 33% of the movie by doing pan and scan. It's horrible. And they said, okay, Steven Spielberg actually, he got into a big fight with Paramount. He wants widescreen. They said, look, Laserdisc is where the cinephiles are. We'll make the Laserdisc widescreen. We'll make the VHS pan and scan. And that was kind of the concession. And I remember being mad at that point because I didn't have a Laserdisc. So I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's happening here, which is not great, but it's kind of what you're stuck with. So my heart goes out to the DVD people out there. Maybe if you're friends with the person who's taking their Blu-ray or 4K to the friend with the 80-inch TV, maybe hitch a ride with them and you can watch it there. Anyways, that was a crazy digression. So the 4K and the Blu-ray, as I said, they contain bloopers, deleted scenes, How to Draw Scooby, New Friends, Newer Villains, and Puppies. Now the bloopers are okay. It's kind of fun to see some of the voice cast doing their thing, but it's a pretty standard EPK, like 5-minute kind of feature. I don't know what the replay on it is going to be like for me. I would have much rather have seen 10 or 15-minute feature actually talking to the voice actors, talking about the process, because a lot of these actors are film actors. They're live action actors. They weren't all voice actors, and for some of them this might be their first experience doing this. It might not. It would have been interesting to kind of get a little bit more behind the scenes on that. As far as the deleted scenes, this is the draw. This is the main thing on this disc. As I said before, there's about 15 minutes of features. I really dug them. I would have, honestly, I would have put a lot of them back into the movie. I recently had a conversation with Ryan Folsey, who is the editor, one of the editors of the film. And some of these scenes were in the film for a long time. There have been many iterations of this movie that have made it to story reel, and changing of direction, deciding to present the same idea in a new way, trimming it down to the 94-minute runtime, led to these things being excised. I think it would have been a better movie with at least 3 or 4 of these scenes left in the film and taken to full animation. Even the intro to SCOOB, Shaggy and Scooby meeting for the first time, with the exception of the ending of the scene, which I didn't love. I loved the whole kind of lead in. It introduces you a little bit more to Shaggy being alone and moving to a new place, and you really kind of feel how lonely he is. And they kind of skirt over that in the theatrical version of the film. I would have liked to have seen a little more of this, and then he meets Scoob. And then they could have had a similar exchange like they did on the beach. And I would have been happy. But that's not what happened, and that's not what we got. But it's great that we have the opportunity to see it here. There's some scenes that are just fun to see. Most of them, actually no, all of them are still in animatic form. They're in story reel form. So it's not completed animation, but I mean, the way the technology is these days, it basically looks like flipbook animation. So it's still very watchable. There's temp voice casts, which, in my opinion, did not throw the experience at all. The people doing it did a really good job of filling the spaces. There's a whole sequence with the gang, minus Shaggy and Scooby, who are off with Dee Dee and Dynamite and Brian. But they're planning to capture Dick Dastardly, and I really quite enjoyed that sequence. That's one of the sequences that I would definitely put back in the film. If somebody was like, hey, here, make the supercut and we'll put it together, I would definitely put that one back in. So, handful of deleted scenes, which I'm sure everybody who's interested in this movie, whether you love it or hate it, I swear you're going to be interested in seeing these deleted scenes. It is the main highlight of the bonus features for these discs. And yeah, so on to How to Draw Scooby-Doo. Like I said, it's about a 10-minute feature. It's Tony Cervoni explaining what his process to drawing the Scooby-Doo is. Scooby is not an easy character to draw, and it's a character a lot of people get wrong, and he introduces you to kind of his style, how he learned to do it, encourages you to try it and draw it your own way and build from there, which is kind of great. I kind of love the fact that he really emphasizes this is just something, this is a springboard. This is something for you to jump off of. For any kids watching this, I thought it was really good, like, artistic advice. Then there's the New Friends, Newer Villains feature, which is basically just kind of a quick run through of the new characters, the expanded kind of Hanna-Barbera characters, like Dee Dee Sykes and Blue Falcon and Dynamite and Dick Dastardly. Just sort of runs through who those characters are and what those characters are and kind of why they're in the film. It's another EPK primer. There's not a lot to it. And lastly is the Puppies, which if you're a dog person, it's like 2 minutes long, and it's basically the live cast members with puppies in front of the Mystery Machine. And considering there's like a PSA at the beginning kind of saying, hey, you can adopt puppies and kittens, go and adopt from like the Humane Association or somewhere, I think this might just be an addendum to that, or it might literally just be somebody wanted to do like a 2-minute little video with puppies. So there you go. I definitely think there could have been more features put on here. I know that there was a lot of EPK stuff that was floating around. You've probably all seen the videos talking with Amanda Seyfried and Zac Efron and Gina Rodriguez. Just little clips, little conversations. I mean, they could have included a lot of that on here. I suppose, I mean, I've often argued when those are the only features, well, I could see those online, so why would I want them on my disc? I want new stuff on my disc. Or it could have been a space thing. It could have been a lot of different things. Lacking an audio commentary, which is my biggest criticism of this home video release, DVD, 4K, and Blu-ray. I'm a big fan of audio commentaries, as anybody who has checked out the podcast should know, because every opportunity I get, I try and create an audio commentary for episodes of this show. I love commentaries, and I think in so many cases they are mandatory for me in order for me to buy physical media. And I don't understand why they're not included with a lot of DVDs. This was a movie which has kind of a storied history. It's been 5 years from inception to getting to the big screen. There's so many people who've worked on this. I really feel it could have used a commentary. It also would just be a nice way to kind of re-experience the movie with crew and our cast talking about the process and the experience of making the movie. Yeah, I could probably wax on about that for a while, so I won't, except just to say, big strike against this. Lastly, like a lot of releases, this movie includes code for Movies Anywhere if you're in the States, and if you're not in the States, I believe the Warner Home Video code will give you access on Google Play Movies. Unfortunately, unlike the iTunes, the Movies Anywhere and the Google Play Movies does not give you access to the bonus features. iTunes would give you access to the bonus features. That's another thing that really cheeses me off about digital copies. But, I mean, you can log in anywhere to your account and, you can watch it at a friend's house with an 80-inch TV and play it in Ultra HD. So anyways, there you have it. That is kind of my rundown of the video, audio, and extras for the SCOOB Warner Home Video release. As far as whether I think it is a disc to purchase, I would say for fans of Scooby-Doo, it's a definite yes. I would say it is worth, I'm pretty sure it's going to retail at probably like $24.99, somewhere around there. And I'm guessing maybe like $30 or $35 for the 4K. I would say it's probably worth it if you're like a big fan, or if you love the movie. 100% if you loved Scoob, I would highly recommend picking up the disc. If you're an on the fencer, it's interesting for the features. I mean, I was planning to buy it despite it not having a commentary, partially because of the podcast, but also because I kind of wanted this one on physical media. I also want to support this film. Again, like I said, if you love it or hate it, supporting the movie is going to get us another movie which could be better. It might appeal to you more. Or it might give us some Hanna-Barbera spin-offs, which would be really, really cool. There's a lot of characters that were in this movie, like Jabberjaw, Grape Ape, Penelope Pitstop. It would be cool to see them show up somewhere else in this cinematic universe. If you're on the fence, I would say if your urges are kind of nudging you to getting it, definitely get it. You probably won't regret it. It's a decent package. It's great to see in all of its kind of glory. And as I said, the features are all right. If your urges are kind of pushing you in the other way and you're like trying to convince your urges, that maybe you follow the urges and maybe just stick with a rental or watch a friend's copy, because if your curiosity isn't leading you in that direction, I don't think there's anything on this disc to really push you in that direction in a strong way. So, yeah. To sum up, if you're a fan, it's a definite must-buy. If you're on the fence, go with your conscience. Whichever way you're kind of being pushed, give in to that urge, and you'll probably be happier for it. You could also wait till, you don't have to buy it day and date. You could wait until the price comes down a little bit and pick it up then. That might make you a little happier. I do that sometimes. It works for me.
Guys, this thing is increíble. Maybe this can lead us to our culprit.
What are you doing? Touching it with bare fingers. Ugh.
Grow up, Fred. You know how many stray hairs the average human eats every day without knowing it?
If it's more than 0, I don't want to know.
It's more. Much, much more. Huh. Trace amounts of mustache oil, 12-year-old scotch.
Ugh, is the bad guy my dad?
And there you have it. That is my impromptu, unscripted review of the SCOOB home video release from Warner Home Video. The film was directed by Tony Cervoni and starred Will Forte, Mark Wahlberg, Jason Isaacs, Gina Rodriguez, Zac Efron, Amanda Seyfried, Kiersey Clemens, Ken Jeong, Tracy Morgan, Simon Cowell, and Frank Welker. It was written by Adam Stickiel? I should have probably checked on that pronunciation before I got into it. And Jack C. Donaldson and Derek Elliott and Matt Lieberman. Story was by Matt Lieberman and Eyal Padel and Jonathan E. Stewart. It was based on characters created by Hanna-Barbera Productions. It was edited by Ryan Folsey and Vanara Tang, and it was music was composed by Tom Junkie XL Holkenberg. Warner Home Video is making the film available in a number of formats, including 4K Ultra HD, Blu-ray, and DVD, as well as digital. And the 4K combo pack will feature HDR10 Plus technology that apparently optimizes brightness levels and contrast for every scene. The Blu-ray comes packed solo, as well as the DVD version, and all 3 versions will include a digital copy of the film. Thanks so much for checking out this review of SCOOB on Blu-ray. I hope it was somewhat informative. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for upcoming episode of the interview show proper of a podcast named Scooby-Doo, where I will be interviewing the editor of the film SCOOB, Ryan Folsey. If you want to support the podcast, like, share, follow, and subscribe to all the social media. You can find me at Scooby-Doo or a podcast named Scooby-Doo on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all the places. And if you enjoy the content on the show, share some links on your social media. Word of mouth is a powerful tool, and I weaponize it whenever I can. Thanks so much for checking out this minisode, and like I said before, stay tuned for a proper episode of APNSD coming to your podcatchers very soon. Have a great day, stay cool, stay safe, and we'll catch you next time on a podcast named Scooby-Doo.
Dick. Lick.